started. So we are going to be jumping into Cursed Hollow here. Game number 1 of a repeat match that we've seen quite a few times here over the last few weeks. Team Blaze and 2Ark. Let's see what they're about to throw at us as 2Ark gets first pick, first ban once more on the red side.
And we see that Zagara going to be the ban here for 2Ark. We see the Zeratul return ban coming out there from Team Blaze. 2Ark then immediately picks up their first pick, Jaina.
So this will allow Team Blaze to probably Leoric, and if I have to guess, Uther. But Blaze is, well, I say that, but Blaze really heavily prefers Monk when it comes to their support. I mean, the 7-sided strike just goes so far in this meta, and Yuj has done some really ridiculous plays. So if they want to, it feels like it should be a Leoric Uther, but because it's Blaze, they're probably going to back off on that. And, well, they already picked up the Johanna. Will they not go for a Leoric?
The crusade calls.
I'm kind of curious about that. If they pass up the Leoric here, then I'm kind of curious as to what their whole entire plan is. But Leoric is actually a little bit of a liability if you're going up against, you know, if Team Blaze is luring 2Ark into that Leoric, that 7-sided strike, you know, generally a Leoric is sitting in the middle of your team by himself, and he's throwing down those Drain Hopes, and he's doing like all these skeletal swings. It's a great target for a 7-sided strike. And they pick up their
Rexxar. Right. Yeah, the other big thing that Blaze absolutely adores is their Rexxar play. So Cursed Hollow Rexxar, we just saw in the last matchup. You can definitely do some early bosses. I think as early as 7, level 7, you can do bosses with Rexxar just by yourself. Now, I'm curious if Blaze will actually be setting up, because they have no more picks this round, for an Abathur into the late game. So far, all we've seen is the double warriors. 2Ark might either ban out the Abathur, or they might ban out a Sonya to kind of deny a triple warrior setup.
Yeah, the Sonya would actually be a pretty good ban here, but I'm actually not too sure about that. Rexxar is normally, I feel like, where we normally see that Sonya, kind of like that more damagey warrior that they normally run in the triple.
What happened?
But we see that Kael'thas and...
Did it bug out?
Kael'thas and somebody. It might be a Zeratul. No, it's a Leoric.
Okay, there we go. I was going to say, the pool
Zeratul.
time actually started ticking down on both sides, and it said it was Blaze's pick, but I didn't see any there. All right, so the Leoric makes sense. I could not imagine any team at this point in the NA meta actually giving up a Leoric if it's still there before second bans. But the double mages from 2Ark, they're going to go super heavy on the damage. And now with the ban out on Uther from Blaze, because they don't want to, you know, they want to make sure that those squishies remain squishy. There's the Abathur ban from 2Ark as well.
Yeah, they saw that Rexxar Abathur play before, so they want to make sure that that's not going to happen again. Now, that was Bang Bang, and Team Blaze has run the Abathur Rexxar against 2Ark before in previous tournaments, so again, it's kind of a trend, and also what they just dealt with, they didn't want to deal with it again. Blaze at this point, probably going to be Malfurion and a Raynor, if I remember what their general drafting looks like for this triple warrior composition.
Yep. And this way they can leave a Sonya for a last pick, or they're going to have to force 2Ark into a double bruiser for a front line, but I don't think they can afford that. So I think leaving the Sonya for a last, or whatever the last, if it is going to be a triple warrior, I'm assuming it will be a Sonya last. Team Blaze, wow!
Ooh, not going triple warrior.
Switch it up.
That happened like simultaneous. This draft is being really weird.
Yeah, I think it is bugged.
Coming in here for Team Blaze. So they're going to have the Witch Doctor and the Demon Hunter coming in there for their side. A lot of range damage coming in.
2Ark feels like they need either a Tyrael or a Malfurion. Tyrael or Muradin.
Tyrael, I think, would be a good call here. Muradin, maybe not so much. Actually, you know what? If they have the double warrior, Muradin I always actually kind of like. And especially if Team Blaze is going to be playing who they always play, Karazim.
Yep.
It's good to have that Muradin in there, because if you pick up Reverberation, that does stop his trait healing from him a little bit.
So if 2Ark does pick up a Tyrael Malfurion that shields and heals on an AoE scale, and you can also get the Imposing Will a little bit earlier as well, because of the level 13 shield talent from Tyrael. But you know, the Muradin will make sense in terms of getting to the bag. If they do take a Muradin, though, Nazeebo has a good amount of free space in order to set up Ravenuses from afar. That's why a Tyrael would kind of help shut that down a little bit.
So we're still waiting for the last 2 picks here.
Assuming it's not bugged, yeah.
Assuming it's not bugged, let me just do a little quick refresh.
All right, but Blaze very likely to be taking Monk unless 2Ark takes it right now. But if 2Ark is going to do a double warrior, Malfurion is kind of the big thing there. There's the Tyrael. Will this be the Melf at the end, or
Reckoning
will they
is
snipe
at
out the monk?
hand.
I feel like Malfurion just fits better for 2-arc in general.
It does.
I
The
feel like I
mana
really
return for
like-
mages as well.
Yeah, Kael'thas with a Malfurion mana battery is pretty nice. So
So the Tyrael for the engage, unless this is going to be a sanctification, which it very well could be. Could actually. I mean, they got 2 squishies to protect, 3 with the healer coming in. 7 seconds on the timer, but Tyrael, I'm fully expecting a judgment in order to try to deter a Ravenous from Zebo. Yeah, and they're just going to take the safe Melf, which will lead us into Karazim.
Grant us strength.
what if they don't pick Karazim? I feel like
I have my mouse hovering the button because there's no point in not taking Karazim.
if Team Blaze doesn't pick Karazim right now, okay, I was about to say, like, the sun will rise in the west and set in the east. The Earth will be the point in which the whole universe turns and everything will go dark. All right, so they pick up the Karazim. We have Team Blaze with a pretty standard Team Blaze composition coming in here. 2-arc running what I feel like is a pretty good 2-arc composition. I'm actually surprised not to see the Zagara, but they banned that out, so that makes sense. Like, if this was Zagara, Kael'thas, and then Leoric, Tyrael, Malfurion, I'd be like, this is, like, so 2-arc.
I'm going
But
to leave
it's
you
not.
here just for a moment because I smell burning in the house, so be right back.
This is what I have to deal with, burning in the house. You know what's burning? I just dropped my mixtape. No, I'm sorry. I'm actually kind of curious to see how Team Blaze is going to be able to deal with 2-arc, though. With the Tyrael, with the Leoric put together, that's actually a pretty good amount of damage that can go into that back line. And Rexar's pretty good at dealing with Tyrael and Leoric and kind of interrupting them, especially with charge from Rexar. But Johanna... She's actually pretty good at peeling as well, but she might actually have to play the more bruisery type because they don't really have a bruiser in this composition. Kind of curious to see what they're going to go with that. And I'm still waiting for FourCourt to come back because apparently he decided to set his house on fire. I told him not to do that in the middle of this casting, but he decided to do it anyway. So we'll wait for him to come back before I guess we get into the next stage of our game. I'm just going to say go anyway. He can come back. I don't think burning in the house really is that long of an operation. You generally kind of, you run to your roommates, you're like, are you guys setting things on fire? And they say no. And then you say, okay. And then you run back to your computer. Unless something completely terrible happens. In which case he's going to be gone for a long time and the stream's going to go down. If the stream goes down, FourCourt might have burned down his house. So we're just waiting for both these teams to get ready here, and we'll get going. I told them to go, because why not? And once I mean, it's going to be Cursed Hollow, so it's going to be it's a longer map. Cursed Hollow is takes a little bit longer for everything to kind of go through.
So sorry about that, sir.
Oh, so your house isn't on fire. I said there's two things that come out of this. Either you don't come back and the stream goes down and your house caught on fire.
No, it's my roommate turned on the heat, and I guess we haven't turned on the heat in a long time, so I think
it's
just dust burning off.
Yeah. It's like it's like having a house or anything like that, like 101. Whenever you turn on the heat for the first time for the year.
My apologies. But we're
Come
good.
on,
We are
FourCourt.
good. We are good. It's good, man. It's all
Of course
good.
we're good. It's you and I. Let's get on into this game.
Well met.
Level 1. Well met is there. Before they said greetings, traveler. Now they're saying well met.
I'm telling you, it's Hearthstone.
Well met. That probably is. All right. So anyway, spawning over here on the left-hand side, it is Team Blaze with Jason, Claudius, Huge, Battery, and Rafflecopter running out their side.
Yeah, the guys that stomped me last night. Thanks so much. Crone, Sunshine, LZ, Traitor, and Insomnia once more are making up the superstars of the stream today. They haven't lost a game yet. And here we are now, game number 1 of the finals. I believe $250 on the line between these teams, as well as, you know, the obvious bragging rights.
And it's going to be a pretty fueled fight, not just for the money, but just because they have been rivals for the past week and a half. They have formed 2.5 weeks ago. And in fact, Elsie sent me a quick message saying, like, be serious. How good are we, given that we're a team that's just formed 2.5 weeks ago? And I'm like, God tier. Like, this is pretty successful for how teams go. And even then, you know, they're not winning all of these tournaments, but they're still a really good team for being 2.5 weeks old.
All right, so the same old song and dance. Claudius shows himself top, but unfortunately LZ, Crone, and Insomnia are there, and they're already starting to work away on that tower. But unfortunately, you know, for 2Ark, it's kind of the same bottom. The Sunshine's going to try to get some good damage in here, but fortunately with Yuge and those auto attacks plus the Breath of Heaven, neither side really going to take, you know, a huge beating on these attackers. But, whoa, all right, I take it back. 2Ark realizes that they're not going to win any kind of race, so they are actually going to counter.
And we see a pretty good rotation coming down here. We have LZ Gamer and Insomnia now coming down to deal with the triple lane coming out of Jason, Rafflecopter, and Yuge. Curious to see how this is going to go. LZ Gamer waiting in the bush. Jason is probably going to be the #1 choice here if they have to go for a target. He doesn't have too many escapes.
Press X to Jason if you get that one. LZ Gamer is going to be found by Yuge, and 2 for the defense. It looks like we're kind of swapping. Yeah, we are going to swap back. Kael'thas is no longer going to be up by himself against Claudius. We saw how that worked in our last game series. But Yuge and Raffle, they're going for LZ. They do actually avoid out those roots, though.
And that's a good amount of damage that comes in here as well. Yuge actually has to use a Radiant Dash to back on up here, and we're seeing some pretty good back and forth, but it's actually looking a little bit more in favor of Team Blaze right now.
Just a tad. Now, we do have tributes that could spawn in the next 4 seconds, up or down, and it looks like it will actually be an early spawn into the bottom lane. 3 now here. Ooh, that's going to be a gravity lapse, and the roots. Goodbye, Huge.
Really nice setup there to be able to get that first blood, and not only first blood, but sets them up very well for this tribute. We've got Trader rotating down here. We've got Jason coming on in here. And they've got 4 members against 3 to set up for this.
Yeah, Battery and Trader just kind of going back and forth, making sure to unstoppable. Again, another root combo, and the blow up. Vala is going to drop. Level 4 from both sides is kicked in, and as you can see, quite a bit of damage has already been befallen Team Blaze. Battery is kind of out of position, I want to say, and Crone is looking to force this engage. Finds Yuge again. Oh no, roots again.
Wow, that combination is amazing. They get the roots into gravity laps or gravity laps into roots. Either way, they set it up all together, and it's a great way to just eliminate somebody really quickly. Battery now taking a good amount of damage. We see Trader having to use the Wraith Walk to disengage for a little bit. And just right now, 2Ark is sitting in a really good dominating position, but they still can't actually just quite grab this tribute just yet.
Not yet, you're right. And Trader, he's now going to be doing a little bit of soaking, because if this goes on too much longer, level 7s are going to have to be considered. And well, right now in that race, it is about a half level or so lead. Well, probably more than that with this incoming clear from Trader. But then again, Battery's there as well. So going back and forth, it's not a huge difference in experience, but it's still favoring 2Ark.
And not only is that favoring 2Ark, they grab the tribute as well. So they're going to be sitting up 1-0 over their opponents. They still need to grab a couple more, but another entangling roots into gravity laps. But this time didn't work out so incredibly perfectly. Yuge is going to be able to disengage from that one and get the sip from the fountain.
It's not going to work too many more times down the line, because as people start leveling up, the base hit points will go up, and at level 13, I believe we are going to see Relentless coming out of Yuge as well. So as many times as we can make this happen early for any kind of incremental advantages, again, 2Ark will be feeling much better in their early game. But of course, you know, Rexar's been off this map this whole time. Nobody went looking for him. We got Bruisers in exchange for the Siege Giants, and we should have a tribute pop in here basically any moment now.
Yeah, those Bruisers are going to start pushing down this mid lane, and that's going to be a really good win here for Team Blaze. I mean, it's just the Bruisers are able to really kind of soak up a lot of the tower shots. Now, keep in mind the tower in the mid lane shots are completely full, so it's going to be a full depletion of ammo if they actually get there. But ooh, Sunshine taking a good amount of damage, have to back on up here. The Bruisers, though, pretty weak, and they're actually going to not be able to soak up that much damage.
It doesn't look like 2Ark is very interested in trying to contest this. Sunshine's going to show himself, but Rafflecopter should have an easy time of just deterring that. Leoric is way up top, and still going back and forth. I'm not entirely too sure if this is going to be a big collapse thing or a soak and poke, but he will find Claudius there mid, so it's going to be 4-4 at best.
Really good gravity laps coming there on Rafflecopter. Insomnia was just waiting for the proper moment to now meet up with his team, and it looks like Sunshine is going to be hot on the tail there of Rafflecopter. Rafflecopter's got to disengage. Crone really low in health. There's a Righteousness to give them a little bit more burst in terms of healing as well as shielding. We have Trader now trying to deal with Claudius coming in from the top lane. Battery taking a good amount of hits, and it looks like Trader is trying to body block and be able to complete that kill. Sunshine now turning around to go after Rafflecopter, and this tribute fight is continuing to go on.
Yeah, it is 8-8 as lots of low hit points. You're going to just start disengaging a little bit. Crone and LZ have taken a heck of a brunt, and Trader with that duo up against Claudius. Nobody is willing to do it without the full 5.
Yeah, they're really afraid, and everybody came around and picked up a fountain pickup for 2Ark. So looks like they want to re-engage. Jason taking a good amount of damage here. Does Sunshine and Trader have the damage to actually finish the job? I don't think so. They have to back up. In fact, they are now taking a good amount of damage as they're trying to give a little bit of zoning here to Crone, but Crone not able to do it. Insomnia going to get body blocked for a second there by LZ Gamer and allow Huge and Battery to take him down. Sunshine now has to disengage as well as the rest of 2Ark, and they're going to hand that on over here to Team Blaze. Wow, what a fight. That was like 3 minutes.
Hard fight. Yeah, 6 minutes in and about to be level 10. Usually you see level 10 coming in at the 3rd tribute, but because this one has now kind of dragged out a little bit, remember as well, we had not only Giants, but Bruisers, and the Giants top have actually cleared out towers for Blaze, as well as bottom. They had quite a few creep waves actually hammer up against that gate, and now Rafflecopter is threatening this fort.
Yeah, he's going to get pushed away here by Insomnia. It's going to give him a little bit of time, but ooh, Battery might be able to get caught out here. No, actually, they're going to stop paying attention to go for Huge. They don't really know what they want to do.
I don't think they split very well on that one. Battery, of course, has the one with the lack of an escape, but he does have the unstoppable. Here comes Jason there as well. Could have easily just zombie walled and kept Trader out, but there's the level 10 from both sides.
And that's going to be a tribute spawning up here in the top lane. Now, this is going to only be the 2nd tribute for both these teams. The 3rd tribute is the one that turns into the curse.
Yeah.
So this isn't really too massive.
But usually you're looking at a curse at in about the level 10 mark. Ooh, big damage on Huge. Pyro that! Pyro blast!
And it gets disengaged by the 7-sided strike. I did not know that happened. Sunshine, though, is the one who goes down there, as he was the only target there of the 7-sided strike. Huge gets taken down, though, from the little bit of damage from the trait, as well as a couple more auto attacks. That still leaves our kill thoughts to be the 2nd death there for 2Ark, and they have to get out of here, but Battery coming in there. He's all charged up. He throws down the Condemn. The Vault coming in from Rafflecopter will be able to finish off LZ Gamer.
And Claudius is off the map. The level 10s coming in are very strong. Trader is going to be looking to find Claudius. Of course, there was just a roots down on top of Misha, but he's going to take his time. Of course, a lot of people showing now top from Blaze here as well. Insomnia was able to actually get the tribute during all that, but they are really going to be looking to kind of solidify this boss steal. The problem is their timing is going to be limited. Here comes the rest of the team.
Do they know? I think they just saw Sunshine. And now they have to disengage. Trader is using his Wraith Walk to disengage.
Boom!
Gets Judgmented. A lot of damage. Too much to deal with, in fact, and he goes down. Trader uses the March of the Black King. Doesn't really get too much effect out of it, but Jason getting caught in the back line, getting the Eldritch's Might from Sunshine to finish up the job with a nice body block. We have Gary the Gargantuan in the back line trying to take out LZ Gamer, but it's not going to be successful. In fact, this is going to be a huge victory for 2Ark.
Oh, that could be a pickup on top of Huge. Does he have that 7-sided? He does not.
Ooh, good amount of damage, but it's not enough to actually take him out. But that does zone them enough to go for the boss.
Battery. Oh, Battery. That was something. He tried to condemn Insomnia through the wall. Did not work. They did actually reset that boss. And this tribute, I mean, I'm a little curious that we didn't put more emphasis on it for that curse, but there goes the boars.
The boys going in here onto the rest of the line here of 2Ark. And there's a massive 7-sided strike doing a lot of damage to Insomnia. He doesn't have the Tranquility up. He's got to disengage. Trader in the backline trying to harass them. Huge is the target here, it looks like, for Trader, but he's taking too much damage. He falls. We've got the rest of Rafflecopter and the rest of Blaze coming on in here to 2Ark. A Hungering Arrow does meet up with LZ Gamer and Crone, but it's just not enough damage to really do too much. And they are able to ward them away long enough to pick up the 2nd tribute.
Right.
2-2 now.
2-2, and level 13 is going to be on the horizon very shortly. The Gargantuan hasn't really felt like it's been doing a heck of a lot, but Gargantuan plus Misha, there's 2 extra bodies on the field for a lot of these team fights, and that was a really good, nice pickoff from 2Ark, but then they started focusing boss instead of going for tribute, and I'm a little curious as to that decision, as it really kind of came back to bite them in the ass a little bit, but hey, they stopped out boss, they lost out a few hit points, 6 kills to 5, and the experience has slightly edged out here for Blaze.
Yeah, Blaze is going to hit that 13 just a little bit ahead, and that's going to be nice for them if the next tribute spawns up here, because 2Ark's still about halfway there. If 2Ark can get some really good soaking in the next couple of seconds, maybe they can even that up for level 13 during the tribute. But if not, then this is going to be a little bit of a difficult fight.
The map is, or the position is favoring the side of the map of 2Ark. And they're going to find Yuge right here. He has that 7-sided strike. He's not going to quite be a big gravity left, but Crone is in big trouble.
Taking a good amount of damage. Judgment there to stop the stray from Rafflecopter, but Crone's still really, really low. Sunshine has to run far, far away from his team, mounting on up to try and re-engage from some other angle. We finally now have Claudius coming down to join the fight. And here comes Misha coming around from the edge. Huge going to get caught there in the gravity left, but it's not going to actually get followed up upon.
All those boars are going to hit everybody. Trader's going to have to Wraith Walk away. Sunshine does not have any hit points. Do we have a Malfurion Tranquility? We do, but it's not going to matter. The positioning is too much for that front line of Blaze, and that will finally be the first curse here at 11-minute mark.
And that level 13 was really, I think, what sold it there. They had all those extra talents in order to really take advantage of 2Ark, not only because, you know, 2Ark's just a little bit behind in terms of levels, but those talents really helped out. And 2Ark even had better positioning in the beginning of that fight, but we can see just how powerful those talents are. Curse coming in now, starting to push down all these lanes.
Well, bottom has already been cleared out, and again, we had Stone Bros into the top. Those Siege Giants from Rexar, that's why he was late to the fight. Been doing work, but again, 7-sided coming out. There's the Malfurion. He got a big pyro going to Rafflecopter, but it's not going to be enough to take him down, and Yuge is there for the save.
Yuge really low. The Water Elemental is able to actually zone up and pick up Rafflecopter. We have the Judgment right down there onto Yuge from Sunshine. Not going to be enough to really kind of follow that up. Wraithwalk coming in there from Trader to disengage there from Jason. And it looks like 2Ark right now, they got that one kill. They're just going to back up and take that advantage.
Yeah, but again, like the top lane has been pushing in. Bottom has a boss coming to it, and it doesn't have a gate. We're going to be stuck on defense for the next little bit between these two lanes, and that should be enough timing for Blaze to get a boss, and they're going to start it right now.
Yeah, this is a really, really good set here from Blaze. They just force these really awful positions from 2Ark. They have to deal with bottom boss, and while the bottom boss is getting cleaned up, they pick up the top boss here. The mercenary camps are really, really strong on this map just because there's two bosses. And if you can claim one and your opponents are claiming the other one, that's a double boss pickup.
Okay, and there it is. It's 2 bosses in 13 minutes, basically back-to-back, and that curse. Now, it's not all bad news for 2Ark. We are still on even talent tiers, which means, you know, both sides have their 13s. That window is about to close, however. But by the time the next tribute is up, if we soak enough and defend enough, 2Ark should be fairly close to 16, and they can force fights at tributes because of their 2-3 curse status.
Well, the thing here is that 2Ark has to just play super defensive. They can't let up any type of kills here, and they have to make sure that they don't get taken apart. Now, we already see Crone getting charged there by Misha. Really good engagement coming in here from the beginning of Blaze. Blaze takes out Trader really nicely with a 7-sided strike. Sunshine's got to back up. The Tranquility is popped, but already we see the keep going down here, and the boss continues to walk forward. If they get a really good amount of CC and they're able to focus off one more member here of 2Ark, this might just be game. The boss is... Actually, no, they've got to back up. There's just too much damage. You shaking a Pyroblast to the face. Ooh. Actually, Green dashes to the rest of his team, which allows the Pyroblast to do some damage to them as well.
Well, it was also more trying to delay it so that the heal came up. You saw him immediately heal afterwards. He was trying to buy enough time to get that heal up. But the Pyros have not worked out, unfortunately. The first one on the Monk didn't actually do anything. The second one on Rafflecopter hasn't actually taken down. And now the third one on Yuge. I mean, it's all after the fact. It's never been used to engage because it's too risky. And the follow-up just hasn't been there. The damage actually really hasn't been there in general from 2Ark.
So we've got the level 16 just on the cusp here for 2Ark, but we've got that third tribute that could possibly be theirs if they if they actually play correctly enough. Now we have Rafflecopter actually channeling that, and I don't think that's going to be able to enough to stop them, but it doesn't stop 2Ark from going for this fight. Yuge now going to take a huge amount of damage. There's the Pyroblast coming in at the last couple of seconds. He's out of this fight. We're going to see Trader also fall as well. Actually, wait, what? How did he survive?
He had an extra heal, and Sunshine, unfortunately, not going to get that heal.
And Blaze is going to be able to actually take this fight really well, though, because they actually didn't get that takedown. That's going to be a 3 for naught. And we've got a very, very determined Johanna to take out Crone, but actually is going to back up for the last second there. The core is going to be the next target.
Yeah. Well, we didn't get keep bottom, So it's really not going to be enough, and I don't think with Leoric now back up, and that March, I mean, it was enough to disengage, or at least to force the disengage, but Trader himself, I mean, he's down many cooldowns and much health, and again, like, where's Claudius been? Well, he wasn't in that push. He actually is, yeah, he's going to be defending out some of these other lanes, so he's still limiting the amount of push that we're getting as a counter from 2Arc, as well as soaking, and because level 20 is not that far from Blaze.
It really isn't, and you know, they can just wait till that level 20. It's one of those moments where you have 1 to 2 levels over your opponent. They just have to be really careful that during the time that it's 18 to 16, they don't take really unfavorable fights. It's really scary here. But we see a huge 7-sided strike come in. Sunshine now going to go for that giant judgment in there. Yuge taking another huge fire blast, but it's just not enough to actually take him down.
Nope. They're having a heck of a time trying to snipe out Yuge, and again, this is why we always see the Karazim coming out here from the team. LZ Gamer is now going to be left to his own devices, and will he actually get chased down? I think it's more Crone that's in trouble, as Jason is not letting up. He does actually have that arcane barrier, but it will not matter. Now, you could actually feasibly see them go for core. But 2-3 for curses.
Oh, they're back in.
I believe some tribute is.
I mean,
playing really safely.
Yeah.
Another tribute coming up. I guess they just want to wait for either a boss to come up, which gets 8 seconds until that bottom one is.
It's the safer play. I mean,
Or
you
just
could
go
rush
for
core and potentially lose and then get counter curse, or you could just go for curse and a boss and solidify.
So they're gonna go for this curse, and this is gonna allow them to.
And stop them both.
Yeah, the issue here is that can they actually pick up this boss here is the question. 2Arc already knows that this is going to be the next call here, and they're trying to move into position, but wow, Blaze is just melting that.
Sunshine is going to find Rafflecopter. If they can't burst down anybody, and it hasn't actually been a kill for 2Arc in a long time, Misha does not count. Although that's the only thing that they've had the last 7-sided strike is just doing so much work.
And we already see that we had to send Kael'thas back home to actually defend, and we see Trader now falling. We see Sunshine taking a good amount of damage with a huge zombie wall. He's actually going to block him up. He does use the Eldrin's Might in order to disengage for the time being. Crone now finally jumping back on into the fight. But any moment that they're away from the core, the farther that boss gets, or sorry, the closer the boss gets to being able to finish them up, Jason is going to go down there to the Pyro Blast. That's going to be the first victim of the Pyro Blast here. Insomnia with the Tranquility staying alive for as long as possible. Sunshine goes down there in the back line. We have Claudius continuing to push on to Crone, but Battery now is just continuously condemning and trying to take out somebody. But again, the boss is what matters here.
Yeah, the boss has just gone right through that keep, pretty much uncontested. We do got some, favorable respawns, but it's still down 1. Oh, the 7-sided snipe. And that is going to be it for Kale. And that is going to be it for game number 1 as Blaze comes back out of this one. 16 kills. There was a point where 2Arc was winning in kills. They got to the number 7. And they had the heck of a time just trying to get past that.
7. I can think of a couple things that sound or have the number 7 in them that might have been the reason why they stopped winning so much. It might be
Pyroblast, you're right.
Pyroblast, yes, that's obviously it.
I mean, I understand the pick. They wanted to burst someone down, but they never had the coordination to take down really anybody into a Pyroblast kill zone.
Pyroblast is not easy to really kind of coordinate and really have somebody take down.
It is really not. You're quite right, sir. Quite right.
Because you have to not only have the timing down of the cast time, which is like 3 seconds, and then you also have to wait for it to travel so slowly. And then take out somebody.
You can even negate it with a 7-sided strike, apparently.
Yes, we learned that.
Monk, man, like a lot of us kind of wrote him off early, but that 7-sided strike has really found a home here in Heroes of the Storm.
We saw Dignitas first pick Karazim in their last set against Gamers 2.
Huh. All right.
So, no, sorry, not Gamers 2.
Navi. Navi and Gamers 2, Dignitas, and Team Liquid.
No, who is the other team that... Oh my god, I should know this.
I was casting.
I should know this. Rokat.
Rokat, okay.
Rokat. Yeah,
Crazy
so
stuff,
Dig vs. Rokat during the semifinals. Karazim, I believe it was game number 2, was the first pick from Dig.
Well, we've seen actually first bans in these guys on Rexar, and guess what we're probably going to see in the next round? A ban on Rexar. Now, to be fair though, we have said Rexar or Karazim, and it's got to be one or the other. I don't think Team Blaze will allow it to go so far to not pick up one of those in their pick phases.
kind of curious to see if they're going to let the Rexar go through again, because Rexar has just been so incredibly strong every single time. Claudius on that Rexar is just god tier.
Yeah, I can't wait till next patch to see what he can do with it.